Hi, everybody. I thought I'd close out our first week back with a little Bible, a little reading, and then talking about it just a little bit. I want to read a really familiar story as we're getting into the end of summer, the beginning of fall, kind of the start of harvest season. And this comes from Matthew chapter 13. And it's the first 8 verses, and then I pick up again verses 18 to 23. So it's Matthew 13, 1 through 8, and 18 to 23, and I'm going to read from the Message version. Okay? At about the same time, Jesus left the house and sat on the beach. In no time at all, a crowd gathered along the shoreline, forcing him to get into a boat. Using the boat as a pulpit, he addressed his congregation, telling stories. Familiar, right? Familiar scene? "What do you make of this?" he said. "A farmer planted seed. As he scattered the seed, some of it fell on the road, and birds ate it. Some fell in the gravel. It sprouted quickly, but didn't put down roots. So when the sun came up, it withered just as quickly. Some fell in the weeds. As it came up, it was strangled by the weeds. And some fell on good earth and produced a harvest beyond his wildest dreams." Study this story of the farmer planting seed. When anyone hears news of the kingdom, and doesn't take it in, it just remains on the surface. And so the evil one comes along and plucks it right out of that person's heart. This is the seed the farmer scatters on the road. The seed cast in the gravel, this is the person who hears and instantly responds with enthusiasm, but there is no soil of character. And so when the emotions wear off and some difficulty arrives, there's nothing to show for it. The seed cast in the weeds is the person who hears the kingdom news, but weeds of worry and illusions about getting more and wanting everything under the sun strangle what was heard, and nothing comes of it. The seed cast on good earth is the person who hears and takes in the news, and then produces a harvest beyond his wildest dreams. I think most of us, if we've been in church very much in our lives, we've heard this story many times, and we've probably heard a lot of sermons preached about it. But the other day I was reading something by Richard Rohr, who many of you also receive daily in your inbox. And on this particular day, he was quoting another one of my favorites, the Reverend Barbara Brown Taylor, saying this: "If this is really the parable of the sower, and not the parable of the different kinds of ground, then it begins to sound quite new. The focus is not on us and our shortfalls, but on the generosity of our Maker, the prolific sower who does not obsess about the condition of the fields, who is not stingy with the seed, but who casts it everywhere." Isn't that a great thing to think about? Focusing on the sower and not the seed. We say it's the parable of the sower and the seed. But so many of us focus on the seed and on the different kinds of ground and how we respond as if we are the seed taking root or not, and are we in good solid ground, or do we act without thinking? Do we not plant our roots deep enough? But we don't think about it being a parable of the sower, and that this is a story about God, and the fact that God does not focus on our shortcomings or even on what kind of seed we are going to be, or what kind of soil we are going to be at any given time, but just on constantly planting the seeds of the kingdom or the kingdom within us. The prolific sower who does not obsess about the condition of the fields, the condition of our hearts, who is not stingy with the seed, but who casts it everywhere. And as I think about that, I think, do I get a little stingy sometimes with casting out God's love? Do I think someone's not worth it? Do I think, oh, that's not worth my time or my effort or my energy? Do I filter what I'm going to say because I think someone couldn't understand the deeper meaning? A lot of ways I think that I might not be as generous a sower as God, that I might be judging what kind of ground the seed is going to fall on. Do you do that? My guess is that we all do in one way or another. And we need to not do that, right? We need to be spreading the love, spreading the goodness, spreading the seeds of Christ's presence everywhere to everyone. Let God worry about the condition of their soil. It's just our job to be present, to be sharing what we know. Enough for today. That should carry you through the weekend, I bet. It's our first Friday back, as is my wont on a Friday. I'd like to mention that if you enjoy Prayerful Pause with the Pastor, if you're excited upon our return, we hope you will do two things. One is to share this link with someone else so that more people can be engaged in a prayerful pause with the pastor. And the other is that if you're in a position to help us financially, that you send a contribution to us, a gift to us, care of the information on the end slide. If you go to our website that's there, southpc.org, you will find a giving or donation button there if you wish to pay electronically, and otherwise we're happy to receive things through the mail in our post office box. But at least once a week I like to let you know that this is all part of my job. This is what I am hired and paid to do. And the payment for my salary comes from you. So thanks if you're able. And of course, we always covet your prayers. Thanks for being with us this week. I look forward to continuing this discussion next week. All weekend long, give yourself some thought about how do you share things regardless of where you are sharing it. We don't filter things out. I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South and Irondequoit Presbyterian Churches in Rochester, New York. Until next time, God bless. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.